Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. My name is Randy.
And I'm ultra empathetic Doug.
And I have no idea how anything of this podcast works because we haven't recorded it like this in a month, so hopefully it's going to work. Ken.
Ken, okay.
Yeah, I almost forgot that part.
See, we're a little bit rusty doing it this way, but we are the world's strongest under the heavens trio de dangers here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, give me an update, man.
Hey, man. Well, as some of you may know, I'm running a giveaway right now. My first ever S.H.Figuarts giveaway.
Hell
and
yeah.
Man, has it been a treat, hasn't it, guys?
Well, by the time this comes out, the giveaway has ended, and I assume you are compiling the thousands of people who have entered.
Yes. So many people have entered the thing. I mean, I expected a lot, but I expected maybe like 1,000 maximum or like around that range. We got 1,000 like the day of the announcement of the giveaway. But if you guys don't know, I have a extra Vegeta S.H.Figuarts that Tamashii Nations from Japan graciously. I'm like gratefully. I'm grateful that they gave to me. So I'm like, you know what? I already have 3 of these. Let's give one away. So started my first ever giveaway, and yeah, it's I told people I thought it was simple directions to just go to the exact video, type in Doug is a dork, and then you're submitted. That's how your submission is. You have to follow and like the video as well. But yeah, man, going to the YouTube, people can't find the video, so they were just commenting on everything. And poor Ken had to like pause comments on the podcast one.
It was one of my busier days at work, and I was also on my phone deleting comments.
Yeah.
Which is like, I didn't mind people posting Doug is a dork on videos, but that they were posting it like on our really special episode 109 one with all of us in person. And I'm like, there's so many like actual sentimental comments in here.
Yes.
And I don't want it just bogged down with Doug is a dork.
With Doug is a dork, yeah. I got of all things.
I don't want it. I wasn't mad, but I was furious.
Well, like even on they went to my personal channel, and they went on the Toriyama tribute video that I made and put the comment on there. I'm like, come on, guys, but whatever. Regardless, it's been fun, and I got so many. I didn't expect this, but a lot of people were just like refusing to say Doug is a dork, but like in the sweetest way. Like they're like, no, Doug is the GOAT. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about like. Guys, I have imposter syndrome right now. Like you guys are like treating me so well, but it's been a real treat. And I know some people. I want to say some people are saying it out of the kindness of their heart. Some are probably saying it because I'm giving them a free figure that they love me or whatever. But
no,
I like to believe that some people are very genuine about it. So it's been really nice to hear that.
Nah, man, it's all genuine. Because everybody loves you because you're such a great guy.
But yeah, actually, I think I set it up so that the winner would be announced the day that this podcast goes out. So on the 25th of June, is that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
That's a week from tomorrow. Yeah.
So the winner is. Just kidding. Don't edit. You can't edit that because the day of it's going to come out.
Well, you can't announce it to me.
Oh, actually I could because I'm probably have it ready before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll see what I don't know how this is going to go to compile the list. Like I'm using ChatGPT like crazy to figure out how to compile the list of all those names. I've never done a giveaway before, but I think I've got it patterned down where I can include everyone and have it pick out like take out all the duplicates and everything and just get it right. So this will be fun.
So guys, again, we're going to give away 2 more of these after the first one.
Yeah.
And if this first giveaway is a little wonky, we'll do better at the second and third ones.
That's how it starts. I'm very sorry. But like, yeah, this is my first time. So it's fun regardless. One person will be super happy. 10,000 will be a little sadder. But that's how giveaways go, right?
They'll be happy because they liked and subscribed to you and also this fine podcast channel.
They get to see more of us. So there you go.
Yeah.
But that was me.
And Doug, I don't know if we want to give away their name yet, but your contact at Tamashii Nations, we'll be getting them on the show at some point. Finally get to have an episode all about Figuarts. And now Randy can contribute because he is now a Figuarts collector.
He is, yes. Now that he has that Lowe's Born Saiyan.
At least 3 figures. I know that.
Yeah. But
they're up there.
My contact at Tamashii Nations like graciously was like, hey, I can be a guest if you want. I'm like, absolutely, dude. Let's go. So eventually we'll have it'll be fun. And Ken and I will have questions. Randy will have concerns. Just kidding.
I'll be like, so you're the responsible person for ruining my friends' lives.
Just their bank account.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, Ken, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, the elephant in the room here, guys, is we all have the Switch 2 now. We have been playing it. I would say maybe a lot. I don't know if I've been playing it a ton. Mario Kart World, we said this before we went live. I don't like the person I am when I play that game. That game makes me so much angrier than Mario Kart 8 ever did, because I think really it's Mario Kart 8 plus Mario Party, and you get Mario Kart World, and Mario Party is one of the things I hate most in this universe.
I wonder why that is, though.
And because they want to like level everything out, and so like there's a high skill ceiling, but they also make it so much more chaotic to balance that out.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I'm not playing a whole lot of that, but like what I have been going in is like checking old games. So I'm playing a little bit of Super Mario Odyssey and going in there because I have a lot of moons I never got in that game. So I've been going back and doing a little bit of that. I started up Metroid Fusion because I finally got the Nintendo Expansion Plus family pack. I got my wife's whole family on it. I gave them my old Switch, so now they can finally play like this huge backlog of old games. It's awesome. Really love that kind of stuff. And then the reason I haven't been playing a whole bunch of Switch 2 is because before the Switch 2 came out, I started playing The Last of Us Part 1, the PS5 remake of The Last of Us, because it was on sale for the PlayStation Days of Sale thing. And man, that is just a really good game.
Man, I want to give it another shot because that does look good. I'm just not good at stealthy and scary games. So.
Doug, they added in all of the accessibility things for The Last of Us 2, so you can play it that anytime you're crouching, you're invisible.
Hey.
And Doug, if I told you that I had every accessibility turned on and I'm playing on very easy, then I would be telling you the truth, because that's how I'm playing the game. And I don't care. I spent my money. I can play it however I want. Don't you get in these comments telling me I'm a soft boy for playing it this way.
I might love it because I want to experience the story. Like I want immersion to experience the story, but also it's too much for me to play. What are you doing over there, Randy?
Oh, I got Metroid Fusion going on over here.
See, it's my turn to chime in on what Randy's
I was
doing.
about to say, Doug, how dare you ever call Randy out for that again? But Randy, what have you been up to?
Well, I also decided to try doing some Switch stuff because there was a few games that I let slide by. I'm like, I'll just wait until I can play that on something that runs it a little better. So I started doing Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom this morning, and that's fun.
Was that like the Dynasty Warrior type one, or am I thinking of a different one? No, this is the one where you play as Zelda, and you can summon tables and beds and assemble. Oh, yeah.
That game is
that way.
That game is truly echoes of beds and spiders. With those two, you can do just about anything.
Anything, right?
Yep.
That's what I just got, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just got the spider this afternoon, so I guess I got everything, guys. I could just pack it up and go home. I'm done.
I don't know about the spider, though. What can you do with the spider?
It's a spider that can like go forward and climb up stuff, and you can like link yourself to it, and then it carries you up as well.
That's a good pun.
I thought that was a really neat game. But you have too much freedom in it that, again, it's just beds and spiders, and you can do just about everything.
Yeah, but that is how you play the game, right? Like how you choose to play. You could choose to like be more creative if you want to. Like the game doesn't force you to just use the bed.
It should force you to be more creative than it does.
Yeah, right. I guess, yeah.
But it's a very, very neat game. Super glad I played it. Randy, you're going to love it. It's fantastic. It was an excellent, like, much in the way that Link, what was that game called? The one where you could go flat.
Oh,
Link Between Worlds?
Link to no.
It's not Link to the Past. It's Link Between Worlds.
LBW,
Link Between Worlds.
Yeah,
there we go.
Much in the way that was like opening up the world and trying something new. This is opening up the world and trying something new. It's like, well, let's see the second effort. Yeah, and kind of like, I don't want to just use beds and spiders, but
right.
Yeah.
They'll remove those entirely from the next one.
That's a good mod.
Other than that, I've beat, and I'm still doing like late game stuff because you can. Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33, in probably my top 5 games of all time, maybe top 3, could be the top 1. Holy crap!
That's really good.
So yeah,
Randy showed me that game when we were all together in our Texas journey. Like I think everyone that we were hanging out with, they decided to go get food. And Randy and I had just eaten, so we're like, let's hang back. Doug, let me show you Clair Obscur. We booted it up, and dude, what a journey. I think the pacing of it was really well done, because you told me just to skip all like the side people, like just get to the dock. And all that
I needed you
and
to get to a certain point, because we only had enough time for people to go eat and come back, and I'm like, go.
not that it's bad pacing, but when I came back home and I played it from the start again, when I bought it, talking to everyone, it did feel a little more, I don't know if it felt a little more slower because I already knew what was going to happen. That might have been what it is, but it just felt a lot more like story with you. And I played it with you, like I skipped everything. You miss a lot of side stuff that's kind of like nice little touches of the world building, but it was cool to just like from beginning to jump into the story where things happen on the beach. Awesome. But yeah, I'm playing it too and loving it. It's great.
Yeah, it's nice and breezy. I mean, I was doing a lot of stuff as I was going along because you can just like zip through the story in like 25 hours, which is pretty good for what is essentially like a modern day JRPG. I finished it at like 45 and I'm putting in some more time. Ken is giving me a quizzical face and I'd like to know.
Yeah. Okay, there's so much Like a Dragon erasure that's going on because of this Clair Obscur game.
What do you mean?
Which is like everyone's like it's the second coming of turn-based RPGs. And excuse me,
no one has done this before.
Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth come out, and those were doing it.
I think the parry system alone makes it better. Like I know Like a Dragon has like a parry system, but it's nothing like the timing like this game does, and it adds a whole new like feel to it, like much more immersion.
I understand that Like a Dragon is your baby, and I have not played far enough to get to those where it's a turn-based game, so I can't speak to it. But also, I would say you give it a try before you start saying.
Have you not given it a try?
Here's my plan. I'm going to wait like 4 years until everyone starts talking about Expedition 34. And then I'll be the one guy be like, have you guys checked out this Expedition 33 game?
It's pretty underground.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Nobody's ever heard of it. Oh, but that's
Expedition 34 is hilarious for a title that you made up.
Right.
For so many story reasons.
In the world, Ken, that's not happening. No. You can't do 34.
Okay, watch it. Watch me.
He's predicting it now.
I'll make that studio a team of 34 people, and I'll
That's what it should have been, because Randy told me I think it was 30 people exactly that
No,
day.
I said 30-some. I didn't know the exact number.
Okay.
But
there are like, I believe it's like 30-something people who work at that company. But it's more like 200 plus people worked on that game.
It was actually 60-some.
Okay, well, even so, it's still drastically more. And now Kojima's falling for the 30 number. Okay, guys.
Regardless, these games make me feel... I still feel like they think that old people or people in their 30s are a lot more older. I feel younger than these 30-year-old characters. It's weird.
That's the other thing. I know that Like a Dragon does this, where all the main characters are adults, but everybody in Clair Obscur is an adult except for one person in your party. So it's like, oh, I'm playing somebody close to my age. That feels pretty good. I like that.
Maybe it's our love of kids anime that makes us feel younger.
It's true. We got that shonen spirit. And speaking of kids manga and so on and so forth, guys, we're here to talk about some more Dragon Ball Super because Doug is finally reading it.
We're doing it, baby. We're in it.
So we are doing some more Granolah the Survivor. This is our part 3 in this little opus.
Is that his like official name, Granolah the Survivor? It's fitting.
Yes. Yeah, it works pretty good. So we're doing the manga. This was the monthly manga that began in 2015 that was going on alongside the Super Anime, done by Toyotaro and Toriyama, and it continues after the Super Anime finished. This is the second arc after that whole thing wrapped up. And Ken, I think, is all set to go to catch us up on what happened recently in Dragon Ball Super.
Last time on Dragon Ball Super, in order to gain the power to have his revenge on Frieza, Granolah uses Monaito's Dragon Balls, wishing to become the universe's greatest warrior. After revealing his newfound strength to the Hitas, Elec moves to use the Saiyans against Granolah, who has now become too big for his britches. A plan is hatched, and as Goku and Vegeta land on planet Cereal, they are immediately drawn into combat with the current strongest in the universe. What twists and turns await the chess pieces played against each other by the Hitas?
Excellent job, Ken. I love it, as always. So we did this, guys. It was volume 17, which is chapters 73 to 76. And we got to take that big temperature check. Big picture. What are you thinking, Doug? This is your first time.
Yeah. You know me. Missing out on seeing it live really brings it down. There's a lot of the, whoa, this thing happened that everyone gets to join in on. Where I'm like, oh yeah, now at this point, I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of this thing. I've seen figures of this thing. There it is. Like, I missed something by not reading it live, but A lot of it was fights, wasn't it? So it was enjoyable to see, but I'm excited where it left off. I kind of forget, but I remember the feeling of being like, oh, okay, I'm ready to read the next chapter now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, because we've left that as a mystery for you, since you said you know nothing about that. Ken, how did you feel about this volume?
I loved it, guys. Come on.
Really?
I think this, again, as I was reading this volume, is when it really started to set in like, oh, this story has themes in a way that Dragon Ball never has had before, like explicitly, right? You can go through Dragon Ball and you can piece together themes of like Goku's story and Vegeta and Gohan, but this is like very upfront, like here's a theme of like Vegeta and what he's doing and how his character is changing and how he wants to be someone who he can't and his realization of that. And you have him seeing himself in Granolah and trying to walk Granolah out of that. And so there's a lot of very explicit themes in this that make it feel like a very adult work. And I don't mean like in terms of the content occurring, but it's just great. And it feels like I'm reading a more mature Dragon Ball story thus far. We'll get into stuff next volume. I love it, and I am prepared to make you guys love it as much as I did.
I was going to say, because I feel like there are themes in Dragon Ball story proper that Vegeta also had. All the characters have, and just the whole. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't think anything is as upfront as it is here.
Right. I think that we have character arcs that are pretty apparent in the regular stuff, but this is like this story that we're doing is about something and everybody is involved in it.
Right.
Rather than it just being, well, this is what Gohan goes through and this is what Vegeta goes through as an evolution.
Yeah.
So I kind of see what you mean.
Right.
And that excites me because, I mean, yeah, I was kind of bored. I was just kind of paging through like, yeah, okay. Then they keep fighting. Okay, they're flying around in the forest. That's cool, I guess, because how often do we do that? And now it's Vegeta's turn. Oh, now it's Goku's turn. Oh, now it's Vegeta's turn. Like,
yeah,
okay, sure.
The whole turn system of like, okay, now this guy. Oh, now I have transformation. Boom. Now I'm in the hand. Oh no, but now I have a transformation. Boom. It's like, okay, we're not doing anything different. How did Dragon Ball pre-Z handle stories like without transformations and still be like amazing? So it's like taking me back to that. Like we don't. The golden rule of like 3 has been broken for me ever since Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball proper ended. Just because like. Super Saiyan was this mystical thing that was a form. Boom. Super Saiyan 2 just happened to be like you ascending past that. And then 3 is just like a wild like transformation that's like, whoa, let's go bonkers. And that's where it like should have stopped. Because I think after that, it's just you can't get past more ridiculous than they are trying to. And it's just like, okay, you ruin that. Not ruin it, but you know what I mean? It's just too much.
And something to consider with like Super Saiyan 2 is that never got a name until Goku gave it against Buu. And so up until that point, it was just the Saiyans refining how to use Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
And there was no definition in any of that, unless you were like looking at, what is it, the History of Trunks, like anime comic or something like that. Then that had the breakdown, and that's where Super Saiyan 2 is called Super Saiyan Grade 5. And so, yeah. There is no definition to any of that stuff in the manga until Goku gives it, and it's just
which is a genius time to include it. Like, oh, I guess since this one I got to give that a name, it's 2, so this one is going to be 3. Like, so that's the only reason the number system worked. And then, but then fandom gets into it and like, let's see what 4 is and 5 is and that kind of stuff, and just makes it ridiculous.
I want to give a real quick warning to the people who are watching or listening to this episode, and maybe you listen to our reviews and you don't read along with it. There's going to be a lot of parts in this where we just say, and then they fight. And you need to really have read this because, like Randy said, there is just a lot of fighting in this that we're just going to gloss over and get to the important character beats in it.
Which is a shame too, right? Because there's not many super memorable fight thing. Like it looks cool, it definitely feels cool. But I feel like with Toriyama's fights, there are always like moments that felt like cool, like Vegeta blasting like a flame when fighting Goku, and like it like ripping off his shirt halfway and kind of stuff. And
I think there's a lot of stuff in the fights here that have a lot of really cool moments that if you aren't trying to breeze through it really quick so that you can be read up before you do a podcast with your friends, you
call me out.
A little bit. I still love you though.
Cheers.
That you can really parse and enjoy and take the time to, because I tried to look at that. And I'll also say big picture thing. I think that maybe I felt like the art in some of these is real bad. Like a whole lot. I don't know. There's a whole lot of Vegeta here that it's like his proportions are weird. Is he thinner and taller than he should be? And also his hair goes in weird directions.
Sometimes like whoosh.
I'm just looking like his legs. I'm like, something's weird here.
He's always drawn Vegeta with like a big man diaper on. And I don't know what is his obsession with that. And like, hey, more power to you, Toyotaro, but Vegeta should be sleeker than that. And Toyotaro has anatomy problems, and it's going to take Torishima to beat that out of him if that ever happens.
But it's part of the charm, though. Like it is, you can tell what Toyotaro's drawn right there. It's got a style.
Yeah. So let's dive into it proper here. So we've got first up, Chapter 73, Goku versus Granolah, and we didn't do this before, but I decided I'm going to give month context to these, so that way you can try and place yourself in where you were at. So this one, June 2021.
And this is yet another sign that we've been podcasting too long, because when I was in the bathroom earlier, I was like, we should probably take a look at that, because I think we're at the point where this podcast had started when these chapters were coming out.
Yep.
And I just refused to be reading it as it was happening.
I think there was already early conversations in those very early episodes that Randy was reading this, and Doug, you would not read it.
Yep. And I was trying to convince him. I'll wait. Give it a while so we can make
kicking
it
myself
content.
for all these new transformations or whatnot.
That's right. So, Chapter 73. Ken, you led this pretty well last time because you take pretty extensive notes.
Yeah.
How do you feel about leading the charge there? Or do you want me to go through mine? Because otherwise, I'm going to be missing a lot of stuff because mine is sparse.
Oh, yeah. I've got very detailed notes. I showed you guys. I have 1,100 words here. That I wrote down for this whole volume.
Dang, we'll
kind of go through it quick, though. So we start off with Super Saiyan Blue Goku versus Granolah, and Granolah now has this kind of orange aura, whereas he had like a greenish glow to him in the past volume. I don't know
what happened prior. Quickly, like what was near the end? What did Granolah like unlock a power or anything?
He just powered up.
What was the deal? Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. It's been a month since we read this. I'm like, what? Where are we? Like, what's the deal?
Goku and Granolah are fighting in the forest, which is a nod to DBZ Movie 5, which is, of course, a nod to Return of the Jedi. So we get to see all that. I just recently rewatched Return of the Jedi. Movie slaps.
Yeah, I really thought of Piccolo, too, in the Movie 5, chasing down Sauza. But, like, reading these few pages, it looks, I feel like, is Goku the bad guy here? Like, he's chasing him down and, like, destroying trees in the forest. Like, come on, what's happening here?
And Goku swings around a branch, which is always nice. You know, that was one of the things that was cool in Daima when Super Saiyan 4 Goku was like running like a monkey, is to get him now swinging around a branch. It's very neat.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Okay. Now, this is where you guys need to open your eagle eyes to enjoy the story, all right? Goku is not in perfected blue during this battle because he's got his leaky aura bits coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because we have that as a separate thing from blue evolution. Is that
so? In the manga, we have like blue, we have perfected blue, and then we have like Vegeta's fiery aura blue, which is we're going to see later. But we first saw that in the Tournament of Power, which he uses against Jiren. They never call it evolution, and Toyotaro has since he drew a picture where it is, I believe, Ultra Instinct Goku and then Evolution Vegeta. And he said a comment like evolution never appeared in the manga, which is saying like, well, then whatever it was in the manga is something different. Or Toyotaro just forgot that he differentiated this form out. I don't know. Could be either one. You pick your poison there, but he's not in perfected blue right now. Okay. I want to apologize in advance. There are so many parts of this where I just had to write down the whole quote of what the character was saying because everything they're saying is important. And I don't want to just summarize it instead. So Granolah says, your blood flow and the movements of your cells have changed. You must have activated that evasion technique. So this is now Goku has switched over and started using Ultra Instinct. Yeah, Randy just did. He does this, boom, and arms to the side, and he stops leaking aura.
Yeah.
So he is now
also,
in...
Toyotaro does a good job of like differentiating that. Like I can look at it and before reading what Granolah was saying, I'm like, oh, he must be doing Ultra Instinct right now. Like the way Goku's face is drawn, or I guess his demeanor.
Standing.
His poses. Yeah. See, I felt like that I had only read this in black and white before, and it's been 4 years. And I was trying to remember like, okay, does their hair changes, so like, and he's Super Saiyan Blue, then does he have the silver eyes? Because that would be cool. And then I saw this and like, oh, it's just regular, and I just have to go by posing and things like that. I wasn't picking up on any aura changes, so that's on me. But I think it would have been cooler if he would have had.
Well, it is the color too. I think his skin is like a lot more pale in this form too. With the color,
because it's not. You don't have that light glow from the aura on him.
There are times where Toyotaro is subtle. And these are those times, and I like it because he's like, I can express something. I don't need to really necessarily. I will still draw attention to it because the characters will reference it, but I want to see if you can catch it before then. And he allows you to do that. And then Goku says that that Blue plus Ultra Instinct won't be so easy to counter. So he is now like basically at the top form he can be without having to go into his Ultra Instinct forms that he has.
When I first read that, I thought he was naming it Blue Plus Ultra Instinct. Like, whoa.
Yeah, we'll get that in the figures.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Goku also says, Ultra Instinct should have no weaknesses. If anything's lacking, it's got to be my training. I'm not totally used to using Ultra Instinct as a Super Saiyan, so I'm still vulnerable. So again, it's this form he is testing stuff out with. He's still learning. He's
still playing around.
Yeah. It's just... Goku is written so well in this arc, I think, because this is a Goku who knows that he's still a student and he's trying to figure it out. And there's some waku in there, of course. He's still excited to be doing this, but he and Vegeta are written in a very different way that makes sense for the circumstances here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Granolah. So last time we talked about what is he capable of? And I had kind of said like, well, it's just Goku and Vegeta because they're the top. Except now Granolah is using Moro's techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Goku calls it out, which I always love. I always loved it in the Cell arc when you were deep in there and someone would just casually mention Frieza. And it's like, oh, yes, you still remember this. The universe exists. It has continuity. We're not forgetting what happened the last episode and wondering if it was even canon to this one.
Yeah, that was exciting for me because when he does the like lava explosion thing, I'm like, and that's a thing that Moro did. That's kind of funny. And then Goku mentions him like, oh, that's right. Our discussion from before that is, well, he's the strongest in the universe. So it makes sense to also just give him the things that the strong people have. I'm like, oh, that's good thinking.
And to evade this, Goku teleports over to where Vegeta is, which is, of course, in the big Ozaru footprint. Now, Doug, you were talking some smack last episode about how you were going to be upset at Vegeta's reaction to figuring out who Granolah is. How do you feel here today?
It's the same, right? It's what I thought. It's like, oh, he was affected by the Saiyans. I was like, yeah, we could figure that out.
Yeah, but he's like, I've heard of these people, and then Vegeta goes a step further to figure out like we're being played here. It's not just like, oh, I know who these people are. He's using that information to inform something else.
Yeah, it's not like life change. It's the stuff that we already know as the audience know, though. So it's. I don't like that it's like a revelation, but it's just for the character as opposed to for the audience as well.
Yeah, maybe it shouldn't have been like the chapter ender or volume ender of like, oh, I know what this is. Like,
and that's what I feel like Super from the beginning has always been. It's just like, oh, Vegeta remembers this thing. Like he's always he knows everything.
Right? Yeah, he came to my house once.
Yeah, it's like, oh, these sniper ride guys. Yeah,
it makes sense for Vegeta. He's very worldly in a universe-wide sense. He
was a child.
Yeah, but his whole life, he'd been traveling to other planets.
Yeah.
He knows a whole lot about the universe that he's only going to bring up if it's relevant. He's not going to just be like, oh, let me just start talking about the Rito people for no reason. I'm going to talk about them when I'm handing these tiny outfits to Kuririn and Gohan.
Right. So, Ken, you're really good at taking these notes and going through stuff, but there's something you skipped before jumping into the whole Moro thing, and that's that really cool moment where Goku, in this Ultra Instinct plus Blue form, does a point-blank Kamehameha at him, and it's a blink and you miss it sort of thing where you can see Granolah just barely hitting him right in the neck. And then after that blast, shows Goku, and he's like, oh, damn. It's just like down. Like, but what happened? Like, I paged back, and I'm like, did he hit him in that? Oh, he did hit him. Okay.
When Goku's getting up off the ground, that is one of the worst drawn panels of Goku. His face looks so contorted and strange. Totally off model.
I mean, it's like trying to draw like pain, so it's like the face is just like so it could be intentional. I don't know.
Could be.
Anyway, we can go back to the whole Vegeta's discovered that Granolah is looking for revenge.
So Vegeta knows they've been played. Oil hears that this has been it's over. Goku considers the Naruto angle, like, hey, maybe we should just talk to him. And Vegeta's like, this kid is so far gone. And, Doug, you were talking about how you didn't like that about Granolah, but it really is coming in to be part of the story that Granolah
he can't
is
be
this
talked
way.
out of. Yeah, he can't be talked out of anything.
Yeah.
I was actually like, I have like Spotify in the background of like while I'm reading the manga, just on a very low volume, just to have some atmosphere going on. And it just happened to be on Sabrina Carpenter's new song, Man-Child, playing while reading Granolah. I'm like, it fits. He's a man-child.
So they can talk to Granolah, but they got to beat it first. That's going to be the only way.
Yeah.
So Goku has to use full power Ultra Instinct. And then again, he refers to it as perfected Ultra Instinct. I just went to look in the Japanese. I want to know what they're calling them here. And for the full power, it is just Furupawa. And then for perfected Ultra Instinct, they use Kanzen, or perfect, complete.
Yeah.
Right.
So, because I just didn't know. There's some terminology in here I wanted to make sure that we're good with.
Well, I like how simple, it's not like a simple naming scheme, but it is just like, it's simple because it's not like Super Saiyan. It's just a Saiyan that's super. And then he just added a number to it because he's just not clever enough. But now they're like, this is Ultra Instinct. This is Beast Mode. This is Ultra Ego. Like, it's like, all right, guys, we're into the shonen now.
Everyone's got their own thing. And I like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that they have their own thing. I'm just like, we've veered off Dragon Ball by like giving these so many forms and now they're all named or whatever.
Shueisha is now wise to the game that is SEO, so we have to make sure that we're giving everything really good
trust
names.
Me, yeah, I know it's all for merchandise
and
and everything, and I'm part of the problem by buying it all. But yeah,
yep.
Well, we know that Ultra Instinct was like a top-down mandated term from Toei. I don't think that was some. My memory could be wrong. I don't think that was like a Funimation or Viz thing. I think that came from Toei directly. Ultra Ego is probably Caleb Cook's choice. And
who?
He's the translator on the series.
Oh.
Brandon Bovia, who was on Kanzenshu, he's the letterer. It's just a Kanzenshu interview, but it's great. Listen to that one. But it's Ultra Ego is the way to work off of Ultra Instinct. If we have to have Ultra Instinct, if that's coming from Toei says do this, then Ultra Ego works. It works well. But that's yet to come. Goku uses his ESP thing that he used on Moro, where he like catches Moro in the air and then like fires punches at him. I love it.
That was one of the cool moments in my brain that I was like, Doug, you're forgetting this really nice thing where he throws him in the air and then just air punches a whole bunch.
And then Vegeta's like, well, why isn't his power dropping? And that's because the real Granolah is elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Granolah can use Tenshinhan and Piccolo's body clone techniques as part of being the great. Yeah, Tenshinhan specifically. Remember when he was fighting Goku and he split himself into 4, and then Goku said, well, that means each of you only has a fourth of the power.
Yeah.
So as a part...
I was so like Naruto people like, oh, it's just a Kagebunshin. This is just Naruto versus Goku now. Toyotaro found a way to do it.
I mean, we do have that. Goku is using that against Whis, but this is...
Yeah. No, but this is you're right. This is totally Tenshinhan.
Yeah.
So then, is it a Tenshinhan thing, or is it because Goku just recently did it against Whis, and then the wish was made, so now it's like, oh, I can do that thing that Goku was doing just a couple of chapters back?
Well, based on the explicit way they talk about the mechanics of it, I'm gonna say, Randy, you are probably right. The intention is probably that Goku used it. But because the mechanics are called out, and the only time those mechanics were ever called out before was with Tenshinhan, I'm going to say Tenshinhan. But you are probably right. But this is where I pull my actually out, and I'm saying Tenshinhan.
What is this show if not pulling out the actually card? Yeah, exactly. It definitely would have been on purpose if other characters' moves were called out. Like, oh, and then that's Krillin's move. And like, oh, that's this move's like
Vegeta's technique.
A la Cell. Yeah. If they did more of that for the older characters, but... Yeah, and the fact that they didn't, it seems like it's a Goku callback.
And Granola's like, well, I had to save my full strength for Frieza, so just had this little quarter me or whatever. We don't really get distinct, and I'm sure this really bothers the power scaling crowd because we don't know how strong this Granolah was.
Yeah,
and then we're about to get like full Granolah fight here in a little bit, so I'm sure people are upset about that. And
now,
then Granolah.
He use... Oh, sorry, I was going to say, does he use... teleportation to zip over to Goku and hit him right in the heart, like from the ship, or is it just?
Oh, he has to because he's so far. He's so far away. because he's literally in his spaceship.
And then Vegeta turns and is like, he's gone.
Yeah, the next scene, he's just literally stabbing Goku.
Yeah. And he's been paying attention that Goku's accuracy drops over time because of the power draw. He can't just keep it up.
So quick.
And we end the chapter. Chapter 74. Vegeta versus Granolah, which is also the title of the chapter.
Is it really?
July 2021.
I like how Vegeta steps in, though. He's it's at the end of this first chapter, and he just like, you're up against me now. And he like spits on the ground like, oh my God, this testosterone-filled mother.
But Doug, you just said you didn't like how people have to tag in and stuff. But this it works because Goku's out. I mean, he is eyes closed out.
Yeah.
So Vegeta has to step in.
Did I say I didn't like the tag? I don't know.
Do we have the thumb point at all for that, or is it just
oh yeah,
Yeah,
moments before disaster.
Yeah,
for every character I think who has ever done that, they always get owned right away.
Yep,
which is a very distinct Toriyama thing.
We just get the head tilt from Vegeta like, it's my turn.
Oh, he points behind him and says, that fool, he won't be up for a while, leave him be. So he doesn't point to himself, but he thumb points to somebody else who's already been defeated. So
there is a thumb point, so it counts.
There we go.
It's thumb action. And Vegeta is really trying to talk Granolah down at this point. You think about Vegeta's ready to fight him, right? Or ready to fight all the time. But for this guy, he's like, okay, look, we really don't. He's doing Goku's thing, where Goku said, can we talk to him first? And Vegeta said, no, we have to beat him. But instead of trying to beat him, he's trying to talk him down.
Yeah.
But then Granola's like, oh, shut up. Oh, what do you know? You're trying to... And Vegeta's like, all right, this little whelp.
Yeah, little man-child.
Yeah. And even Oatmeal, who I guess is now revealed that he is just the AI inside.
Yeah, it is just the little thing
in his headset.
That's so weird.
Oatmeal is like, hey, Granolah, none of this lines up with what you were told. Maybe you were in Granolah. Like, shut up.
He's like, shut up.
Yeah. And then Vegeta pulls out his variation of blue. Doesn't go Super Saiyan God, just goes straight to it and starts fighting.
Well, he has to if this is full Granolah power.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but on the volume cover of Volume 17, Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta's hair are different colors.
I was going to ask, this is the evolved or whatever Toyotaro wants to call it.
The flame version of blue aura.
Right, because I'm like, it's a darker, more, royal blue.
Much more rich blue, right? Instead of Goku's cyan.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan.
Vegeta is using destruction in this fight, making rocks pop up and blowing up. And then, here's why I say, some fighting happens. And I don't really have much to say until we get the little panel of Vegeta swimming in the water. It's so good.
Yeah. Is this where water Vegeta power level came into play? Remember you mentioned that during Daima?
Yes, dude.
It's water Vegeta.
Granolah sends a sniping shot at Vegeta. And Vegeta
thanks to aim assist, though. He's cheating.
Yeah, it's true. But, all's fair in love and war, These science, they gotta go. Vegeta catches it in front of him and then, dispels it. Now, I had posed this question in the Kanzenshu Discord yesterday because I wanted to get their input of if Vegeta was using forced spirit fission or if he was using destruction on this blast.
Oh, yeah. See, I took it as destruction, but we previously talked about, no, there is a huge, visual explosion whenever something like that is
a lot of water, but not really, an explosion like we've seen a few pages ago. So maybe it is.
The mechanics, Devil's Corpse TDC pointed out, the mechanics of Force Spirit Fission are always that it's ki that is not inherently yours, is what Vegeta was breaking out. Which is not to say that he couldn't use it to dispel ki of a thing, but based on the mechanics that we know of it, that's not the intent. And there is the explosion in the water, and destruction is always given a certain color, but that's masked in the water. So it would be so cool if just once Vegeta used Forced Spirit Fission at all in this arc. Spoilers, he won't.
Yeah.
But
to keep it the whole Cell mentioning Frieza aspect, to keep it all one universe.
Yeah.
I want to mention, if it is it previously was used to deal with ki that is not yours, technically none of the stuff that Granolah is using is his. This is granted to him by a wish.
Yeah. Magic dragon power.
Also, I noticed, though, now that we're talking about the move, Vegeta, before he dispels it or whatever he does, the sound effect is a red and it says squeeze.
Yeah,
on
squeeze.
it. And I thought it was weird, and then I noticed it again later on in this chapter. He does squeeze, so maybe whatever he does then, it's whatever he's doing there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it, but like he does this,
Yeah.
and then the sound effect says squeeze. So the next time
page
we see
24.
I think it's
of the thing that we've got.
I think it's more likely it is destruction, but yeah, I do like to think that it could be Force Spirit Fission, and I would love to see Vegeta use it again someday. Remember his Yardratian training?
Yeah.
No, page 24 is what I'm talking about. But when is the other time he uses the squeeze?
Oh,
there's another time. Maybe we'll come across it. But
we'll get it. Granolah counters Vegeta's technique because Vegeta uses Vegeta's technique.
Right.
And here Granolah is using destruction to dispel the ki blasts, which is again another thing. That's probably what Vegeta was doing. If you can use it not just on physical objects, but on ki itself, that's what Granolah is doing. So
yeah.
Vegeta starts blowing up the ruins. And And then this is one of my favorite exchanges, possibly in Dragon Ball ever.
I will say, Vegeta does not blow up the ruins. He dodges a blast that he's had Granolah aim towards him so he could get out of the way, and then it explodes. So he's making Granolah do it.
To make him further realize how much of a man-child he's being. Like, hey, you're not
He's already playing with his mind.
To what matters to you.
Yeah, you're too blinded.
Vegeta says, I can tell you know that you only recently acquired this absurd strength. And Granolah says, how can you tell? And Vegeta says, gotcha, bitch.
That's actually what Caleb Cook had written for the translation. Gotcha, bitch.
And then some more quotes here from Vegeta. There's a lot here. As this battle's going on, it's clear Vegeta is not strong enough to beat Granolah. Vegeta says, you may be stronger, but that's no guarantee that I'll lose to you. Should I do this in like a Chris Sabat?
I think you have to, yeah.
You may be stronger, but that's no guarantee that I'll lose to you. The great thing about a battle is that the outcome is never quite set in stone. It's exactly what I love about fighting. Rankings are well and good, but they only reflect a moment in time. I'm already stronger than I was a few minutes ago. I've grown more and more powerful throughout this dance of ours. This feeling, it's been ages. There's no planet to protect, no people to save, just me immersed in battle. My happy place. Just the thing to get a battle-crazed Saiyan's blood pumping.
Dude,
that close-up shot of Vegeta at that last panel, that's good. That's great.
Didn't that bring my memories of him on Namek? Like, that's like, I think even the ears, too. That's got to be on purpose, right? Like, he, like, took inspiration of how Toriyama drew Vegeta during that arc. And
I think it's more Saiyan arc, but yeah.
Maybe yes. That's what I'm thinking of, too. But to definitely early style Vegeta, when he had that, like, I'm not fighting to save, protect anything. I'm fighting for me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Man, what a good line. That's some good stuff. You know, these chapters were good.
Yeah. And just in the way that Moro arc Vegeta was calling back to the sins he made on Namek, this is Vegeta calling back to the fun he hasn't had since Namek.
Yeah.
Without being a psycho Majin Vegeta blowing up innocent people. He's like, no, this is just me. I love fighting, and there's nothing that needs to hold me back from that.
What was Beerus? His whole envisioning of Vegeta's training was let go of everything.
Yeah.
Just be in the moment, in the fight. Think about destruction. Don't be thinking about your race or anything else like that. Just be focused on this. And Vegeta can finally do that.
But that's why he inevitably fails, because he can't fully.
Exactly. And so then this triggers his ultra ego transformation. And Goku looks and he says, Vegeta's ki just changed. Feels like God ki to me, but not just any old God ki. Vegeta has become, like, remember Toppo in the anime Tournament of Power when he starts using destruction? That's Vegeta now. Vegeta has undergone, this is ultra ego, but it is also the god of destruction state that he's in.
Yeah.
So this is the state that Beerus is always in, as Ultra Instinct is the state that Whis is always in.
Wow.
Which makes you think, Beerus, before he became a god of destruction, did he have eyebrows?
I don't want to see that. He was a fully haired cat. He wasn't a naked.
He looked like Karin, but then embraced the power.
We haven't seen Karin and Beerus in the same room.
That's true. I'm just going to, one little quick thing, because I'm paging through this as we go through it. I don't like, he has this eruption of like purple fire around him. And it's just kind of this calm, like, exhale, and I'm like, don't do that. You should be grinning like a psychopath. Like that's
maybe
just,
like the wild animal.
right.
Well, like you mean like he did during Beerus when Bulma got slapped, when like his hand is like, "Rah," like he's
Maybe
controlling his anger, but it's not anger. It's like it's ego.
Yeah, it's more just this burning hot blood for fighting.
Randy, I think you're talking about when Vegeta's got his mouth kind of like pursed a little bit, and he just has the dumbest expression on his face.
Oh it's not a great
for the
first shot of his face that we see.
For the Blue Sky post of this, I redrew that face because
I was like, this looks a little bit better.
Yeah, let me kind of give him a Nakatsuru nose a little bit, and then have him grinning. But yeah, anyways,
that's awesome.
Is it the Saiyan biology you think that is particularly able to change with a godly transformation, or could anyone do this? Like if Yamcha, let's say Yamcha trained hard enough and he was training with Beerus or something, would he undergo a transformation so that he could use God of Destruction, or is this special to Saiyans?
I think that anybody could. Like you said, Topo did something similar, and he isn't a Saiyan. And if we're going with like where we are right now in terms of like characters and their new evolutions, nothing is based on a Saiyan. Ultra Instinct isn't a thing that is based on that. We've got Beast, which we don't really know a lot other than it's just Gohan doing his thing, which is like all rage based. So like, there's not that whole thing. And then if Vegeta's this way, like it makes sense to be like, no, this is just me loving fights, but which is kind of like a Saiyan trait. I don't know. I just like it that if it's not based on that, because we did that for way too long, we can move on to something else.
I agree. I love breaking apart Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct as these divine transformations. And this is stuff that I'm catching in reread. And at the moment, like Doug, you said you missed out on all the hype of all of this, but Randy and I were deep in that hype. And so thinking about it from other angles, you weren't as free to do that because you were just looking at people. Did they like the eyebrows or did they not? And
right.
So where do you fall on the side of history, Doug? Do you like Ultra Ego?
It's a new look. I mean, I've gotten to like see it in the zeitgeist of the world, and it's just been there.
I like it conceptually. Everything about the design as an idea, I like. Toyotaro is not the best one to pull it off.
Agreed. That's my main.
That's what I mean with like Dragon Ball. It just kind of lacks creativity at this point because it's just a hair color change and missing eyebrows where we already had with Super Saiyan 3.
His hair does get a little longer, specifically just like the back nape of the neck gets a bit longer and more wild and kind of.
Yeah, but again, that's still a Dragon Ball trope. Like give me something like new. Like Super Saiyan 4 was such a different like turn. That's like, okay, cool. This is awesome. This is a new thing. I mean, I'm not mad at it though.
Any kind of physical transformation could just be Toyotaro's inconsistent anatomy as well. So
exactly.
Personally, I wouldn't put too much stock in that. Vegeta says, a god of destruction taught me that power derived solely from instinct is unbounded. The only reason I want to draw attention to this is when you're saying the word instinct in Dragon Ball now, that carries some weight. So I just wanted to dive in there. And the translation here is actually very literal from the Japanese. They do use the term honno, which just means instinct. So there's nothing special here. It's just that when you think of Ultra Instinct and instinct is used elsewhere, it's like, is there any connection here? And the answer is no.
Whenever I have to search for Ultra Instinct Goku S.H.Figuarts on Bai, it always Google auto-translate it to like selfish mode. I don't know if selfish has anything to do with it, but
we'll get into translation of the technique name here, the transformation name in the next chapter when Vegeta calls out Ultra Ego, because it's I don't envy Caleb Cook for having to have taken this apart.
You should have just called him, Vegeta BoJack Unbound. I mean, that would have been the best way to go.
Would have tied everything together to the dub as it always should, and
Yep.
Perfect.
We get to chapter 75, August 2021. Mm-hmm. When was the superhero movie announced? Do you happen to have that information offhand, or if you could look that up real quick? I don't know if we're in that territory yet.
Randy, just reach behind you and grab the news article. Like Ken does.
I want to say it was around this time, if not early in 2022.
Let me check the manga guide or the movie guide here over on Kanzenship, because I know that the movie came out in 2022.
There's a website too?
There is a website, which is super wild, right?
So while you're looking that up, I'll kind of just dive into it here. Vegeta says, the hotter my soul burns, the stronger I grow. And the way that Ultra Ego works is it seems like in Smash Bros, I was talking to a professional Smash Brothers player, and he was telling me about the rage mechanic. So the more damage you take, the stronger you get in Smash Bros. And that's the basically very video game mechanic that Vegeta has with Ultra Ego. And it's kind of cool. It works for him, right? To just
to like
just
take
be able to
that
dive
in,
into battle.
it also like fuels your ego and like, oh, these punches he's hitting me with don't do anything to me. Like that fuels the ego. That must be what that means. He looks good in this first panel, like when he has like Granolah by the scruff of the scarf or whatever. That's a really good shot of him that he drew. But then the next shot is horrible, the face up with this huge eyes looking at him. It's weird, but yeah.
Yeah, just to catch you up, I did find it that it was officially announced on Goku Day, May 9th, 2021. So this was months previous before this chapter came out.
But just before, what was it, the Dragon Ball Battle Hour, when someone asked Ioku, like, where does superhero take place in comparison to Granolah or something like that? That was around this time or into the next chapter, I think. But
yeah, additional details came out July 2021. So that was pre-recorded virtual panel at Comic-Con 2021.
So we're in that era of knowing superheroes coming and being like, well, how does Granolah fit in all of this?
Right.
We'll find out. I mean, Granolah takes place right before superhero, but didn't know that at the time. Vegeta also continues, this power is my own. Our battle has awakened it for the first time, this innate power within me, because he had mentioned, the god of destruction taught me this, and Granolah was confused, thinking that, Beerus granted this power.
Which is a very important, I feel like, sentiment, because it is showing that, no, I wasn't gifted this power. Like Goku was gifted the god form in the beginning of this whole god transformation stuff.
Right, and that Granolah doesn't know about the gods of destruction.
That's true, yeah. That also reminds us that, too.
A lot of people do know about Beerus, though. Like Vegeta obviously knew, Frieza knew, whatever like weird planets Beerus would go to and eat their food, they knew.
Yeah, they knew.
Until they all died like right away.
It's just like Earth, right? We don't know anything about aliens, but I'm sure all the aliens know about each other.
Yeah, so I like Granolah having to learn the hard way that the universe is bigger than he thought. And maybe he should have had Taranbo adjust that wish to be stronger than the gods, but...
Well, no, I mean, that also puts into the fact that how closed-minded and closed off he is to the universe. And it's like, I'm the victim. And it's like, no, man, Saiyans were also affected by the same super being kind of thing, Frieza.
Okay, so let's jump into the naming of Ultra Ego here. Huge shouts out, as always, to Kanzenshu, specifically the Kanzenshu wiki, which not everyone has access to. But what will happen is whenever there's like a new character or new like big important concept, Mike will just go ahead and in that moment make the article for it on the wiki so he doesn't forget to do it later. And also with Super, as it was happening, there was so much stuff in the moment that needed to be looked at immediately. And so Mike was always be making these articles. So there are actually a slew of these articles, like probably borderline ready to go. So I had to actually use those to kind of dive into this stuff. So Vegeta says, Kakarot's body may have a mind of its own, but I'm all ego. In fact, go ahead and call this Ultra Ego, which is just like the cheesiest way to say it, but still great. In Japanese, Vegeta says more of, Kakarot may have Ultra Instinct, but I'm all ego. Caleb Cook makes the choice here to break out Ultra Instinct, Migate no Gokui, which literally would mean body moving on its own. You'll often see it translated by machine as like the secret of egoism or something like that, but literally it means body moving on its own, but it can also mean a phrase, be read as a phrase that means selfish, but like in a thoughtless way, not like I'm selfish in that I want everything for me, but it's like I'm selfish in that I'm just not thinking about the world outside of myself.
Right. Oh, wow. I didn't know that would actually, I like literally like on searching for Figuarts in Japanese, it just comes up auto translated to selfish.
Right.
I thought it was like, it's got to be wrong somehow. No, it actually does relate. That's cool.
So Caleb Cook takes that here to break apart Ultra Instinct into the actual literal phrase so that when Vegeta says, but I'm all ego, it can make more sense here. So he actually does some fantastic work trying to, it's a very difficult job he had with trying to do this because it's based on Japanese stuff and having to switch it over and try to work around it in English. So now let's take a look at Ultra. So Ultra Instinct is Migate no Gokui, but Ultra Ego is Wagamama no Gokui. And Wagamama means selfish or egoist, but in a definitely kind of self-centered type way.
Oh, so it's using the word selfish in two different ways.
Right. So it is Vegeta directly making a pun on Goku's technique.
And again, which is why it makes sense to instinct it both up. Kinda.
Right. We know Vegeta is in the pattern of naming his own techniques. He called himself Super Vegeta, but we never call him that. He called himself now Ultra Ego, and then he called himself Ultra Vegeta 1, I believe it was, or something. So he like has these fancy technique names for himself that are just like, yo, man, you're as bad as Piccolo when it comes to naming your techniques. Save it. Let Caramel Mama do this. Thoughts on Ultra Ego as a name? I think it's catchy. I like it, and especially the Ultra comparison with.
It totally fit in line, with Instinct. I mean, just hearing the name without having to read this like many years ago, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I bought it immediately. Like it was along the lines. It of course sounded kind of ridiculous, but totally in line with everything else.
I didn't do super research on this, but also in that wiki article is about the Spanish translation in which Vegeta, I believe, calls his technique the equivalent of Super Instinct, as just to draw a connection to Ultra Instinct, but have it be different enough.
But then that makes you think that it's like a level above Ultra Instinct. Oh no, or a level below.
Again, this is not an easy job any of these translators had having to work with this one.
Yeah, but this works because, like you said, we are using in Japanese the word selfish, but in looking at it in a different way versus, being only of your own self, not of the world, but then also just like, no, this is all about me. Like that's what this is. And choosing to go with like, okay, well, the other one was Ultra Instinct, where that one was just like, okay, I'm just letting my body think about itself, but we're also putting Ultra in front of it. So this one's like, okay, well, we can't use that because we don't have like an English equivalent of using selfish to mean something like that, or at least nobody is going to put that together. But if we both have Ultra in it, we can see like, okay, there's probably some sort of connection or mirroring of these two. So I think it's a really great choice in terms of, going for something like that to give that idea.
Give it a catchy name.
Yeah.
Granolah can use Broly's techniques. He uses the big green barrier.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got him now using Moro, the hill that I'll die on for Tenshinhan, and Broly. Monaito is now privy to what's going on here. He notices that Granolah's out there fighting because he and Vegeta like fly over him or something. Vegeta reveals at long last to Granolah that the Saiyans were also wiped out by Frieza. Again, Granolah's, Vegeta, I don't care. Oatmeal tries to reason with Granolah again, and Granolah, Oatmeal, no, and throws his thing aside. Oatmeal is just like, oh my god, screw this. Let me call the plane, and I'm going to go fly off into the mountains.
Yeah.
Goku's now up and awake. Instant pain the second he gets up.
Yeah.
And he's healing himself.
Yeah.
That's what I got too, but it was really weird. Like, how can he do this?
It's just his special divine powers now that he's got all this stuff.
Has been known to use divine abilities without having actually been trained on them. Like, remember, he did. I mean, Doug, I asked you to remember. You didn't read this part, but he uses destruction against Zamasu. It's like a messed up form. It doesn't totally work. So maybe in the manga, Trunks had healing powers that he got from his Kaioshin training. So maybe Goku is using like a half-assed form of that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense considering you go back even further. Original Dragon Ball, he sees Muten Roshi use the Kamehameha, and he's like, oh, let me do it. And it's like little tiny, and it like knocks a tire off of a car. But it's like still, just from seeing it, he's like, I think I can figure that out.
Itching towards too much of like Goku is like Kakashi, and like anytime you see something, it's like getting too much into that aspect.
Goku is first.
Came later.
Yeah.
But I like to think that it's just, when in movies, when someone gets like their arm cut off, they just get like a steaming hot thing and just kind of to cauterize the wound. I think it's maybe just doing that with like energy, like it's heat or whatever, and just like zapping it so it closes the wound.
Randy, I didn't even think about the small Kamehameha. That's brilliant, and I'm all in on this, and especially because Goku says something here soon, like, this, you're not going to be able to use that technique on me this way again because I've figured it out, and this is so unlike GT Goku. It's like, you can't use the same technique on me twice. This is him saying like, no, it's not. You can't use it on me twice because I've figured this out. I know what you're doing. Right. Goku paying attention. It shows that Goku pays attention to what's going on around him in a way that the internet would love to have you forget how Goku actually is.
He's a genius fighter.
Speaking of techniques that you've seen, Vegeta uses Beerus's destruction ball, ready to just wipe out Cereal. Like, screw it, let's just go do all this. Vegeta becomes, I think, consumed with this god of destruction energy, like coursing through his veins, and it's something I'll get into in the next chapter as well. I think Vegeta is so destruction pilled right now that and Granolah's inability to listen to him, I think, is pushing him further down this way. Like, well, fine, then I just will stop trying and I'll let go a little bit more and let go a little bit more. And Granolah's left eye awakens.
He was also like getting tired or something. Like he said Vision was getting blurry. Vision was getting blurry.
All I see is this big himbo.
Guys, I need to apply a Gaussian Brol to this. How do I?
It's all Broly.
Granolah needs a transformation, so his left eye awakens, which is pretty rad. I like it.
The like shatter effect is a very cool thing to go with.
And then he blows up the destruction ball, which blows up in the sky. And then this is where we find out that Alec and Gas have showed up, and they're with Mackie and together hunting for the Dragon Balls. Now, in the version that you guys read, I believe does not use the collected volume version. I think it just uses the chapters as they came out. But in the interstitials between these chapters, we get to see that Gas and Alec have shown up and run into Mackie. And in addition to that, we get to see here that Mackie is showing them that she has the Dragon Radar.
Oh,
so cool. Toyotaro realized that he forgot to explain that stuff and added it into the interstitials.
That's so
of this
funny.
volume, which isn't the first time that's happened. He had to do something like that early on with Beerus to be like, oh yeah, there's other universes. Some detail from the movie that Toyotaro left out that he had to add in an interstitial later.
But I love that, even if it's on purpose, because it just he shows how good he is at storytelling without having to use many words and just like the interstitial pages to get the point across. It's great.
Toyotaro does on often occasion know what he's doing.
We've said before that he's a really big fan of this. I mean, he was doing a doujinshi before all of this, but I don't think he's a Dragon Ball fan because he reads. He knows what happens in Dragon Ball.
He has the ability.
Yeah.
Dang.
So.
Chapter 76, the final of these four, The Fate of the Saiyans, September 2021. I love Granolah walking through the blast with his hands pointed forward like a lone gunman in an old Western. So awesome.
If you do not know the context for Dragon Ball, you're like, this is the goofiest thing. He doesn't even have guns. He's just going,
pew, 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 pew. He's got pew, pew hands.
It's so funny.
But you've been reading it and you're like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Vegeta, turns out he can lose his ultra ego state, and he's back in normal base form. Granolah goes in for the killing blow. Here's Goku, though. Boom. Super Saiyan Blue punch to the face on Granolah. And Vegeta just kicks Goku for helping him.
Love that.
Typical Vegeta.
And then Vegeta says, there's no one I'd rather beat to hell and back than you, Kakarot. And Goku says, you sure picked a moment for this old attitude.
I love that he calls that out.
Vegeta argues that he's only ever fought side by side with Goku to protect something. And Goku's like, well, what about preserving your own life? Are you trying to get yourself killed here? And Vegeta's like, better than teaming up with you. On face value, this seems like bad writing.
But then he comes back later.
But I think the fact that the characters are addressing it shows that the writer is aware of this situation.
Yeah.
And I also think that Vegeta, like I said, Vegeta became so destruction-pilled in his mind that I think he was still down that rabbit hole of thinking. And it was like, and because we see him peel back a little bit. And I think it just took a while for that to like get out of his system before he could kind of become level-headed again. I mean, he ultra ego, dude. He was deep in there. And
it was his first time unlocking it too, so it's like a state that he's not used to controlling.
Right, like you had brought up at the end of that last chapter where Vegeta uses Beerus's, giant sphere of destruction. Going back through that, I'm like, yeah, what was his game plan here? Like, he had to be counting on Granolah to be stopping that. Otherwise, like, it's all over for everybody.
Right.
But it's like, I don't think he was thinking about that at all. He was like, no, I'm going to take this guy out, whatever it takes.
Yeah, he was full tilt. He wasn't thinking about anything else. Goku force pushes Vegeta out of Granola's strike, which is like, okay, Goku, we know you can use ESP. It's all right. You don't have to show off all the time like this. And then this is where Goku does the, your vital targeting won't work anymore because he's shifting his vitals out of the way ever so slightly.
I thought upon first reading, he's like moving his heart. Like my heart's over here.
I'll turn my body just a little bit.
Yeah.
So that way you don't hit the right spot. I didn't catch this because I was going through and taking notes right before we did this after I had done the reading. So I was just paging through. And it's that moment where he's like, oh, this isn't going to work on me anymore. And then immediately Granolah comes behind him and hits him in the back of the head. And I'm like, well, that didn't work out. But I just skipped the panel at the top where we see Goku look back and there's the tingle on his neck. So he's like, just confirming. He's like, this is how it works, right? And then he gets hit. And then after he's like, it ain't going to work. It's fine. Like, I know now.
And this is not like out of nowhere either, Doug. We know Goku has full mastery of like his body. Because remember when he was fighting Moro and Moro went to punch him and Goku flexed, hardened his pec, and then Moro's arm like shattered on it. So Goku could just do this with his body. This is the thing that he can do.
What is Goku now?
I know, right? It's like Metamorpho at something at this point. And so Granolah points out like, well, you can do this. That's great. This is all defense. You can't beat me with that. And I love it. Goku just looks at him and he says, you're not wrong. And that could be a problem. And
I'm still trying to work this out.
This is like I talk about this so often, the extension of Buu arc Goku. In that this is a mature Goku. He's thinking, he's observing the battle. We don't get enough of this, especially recently with certain things that have come out. And I love it. I think this is some of the best written Goku in a long time.
Wow.
It is good.
Vegeta. Now, this is the part, Doug, where if you want to complain about characters tagging in, this is when Vegeta says specifically, let me tag in. That's fine. You can have that. But Goku's like pressing him. He's like, why are you so obsessed with this? Like doing this alone. And Vegeta says, I really don't know. Just think of it, just like reason this away as a Saiyan thing. Like, but let me please, he says please to Goku. He says, please allow me to do this alone. And Goku's like, all right, I try not to die. I love it. I love
like that try not to die Vegeta. And we get that close up on Vegeta, who is just determined looking, sided next to that panel of Goku, just like, whoa, like he is impressed with his determination or whatever he's got planned.
He's serious about this.
All right. This isn't Vegeta who's like, I've just got to win because I want to be number one. It's like, no, this means something to him.
And then Goku also says, like, try not to die, Vegeta. And Vegeta just doesn't say anything. Close-up shot of him, like, continuing on forward. Oof. And Goku catches that, too.
This is why I think that part where Vegeta was complaining to Goku, like, I'd rather die than fight with you. Immediately, this is all peeling away. He's coming off of that high, and immediately he's already like ready to have a kind of very civil conversation with Goku about this. He still wants to do it his way, but he's like, I can give you a better reason now than the one before. And then so he's talking to Granolah.
No, but it looks like he's determined to die. Like he's like going to give his life. Like, because as soon as Goku's like trying to die, Vegeta doesn't say anything, and Goku looks at him like, wait, is he gonna die?
Well, I think this is where he's trying to get in with Granolah to be like, let me try to empathize with you.
Yeah.
And he says, that drive for revenge has rotted away whatever's in your head. You think you survived all this time just to take revenge on us? There's nothing more to your life? And then it keeps going. He's like, well, okay.
All right. And it's a couple of volumes back, but remember we had this during the training. This is, again, Ken dealing with themes, and I'm starting to love this volume, is Beerus and Vegeta having this discussion, and Vegeta's like, oh, like we did this whole thing and I feel really bad about it. And Beerus is like, just shut up and let it go. All right.
Yeah.
So this is Vegeta like, I'm letting it go and I'm ready to move on past everything that the Saiyans had done. And you should let go too. And it's like, oh, that's good. I like this. All right, continue. I'll stop.
I'm telling you guys, this Toyotaro guy, I'm so, okay. Next volume is where the other unforgivable sin of this volume happens, or of this arc happens. And I am so curious about what silver lining am I going to find in that? And
hey, maybe, yeah. If anyone can, you can.
And then come in here with it, because I don't know. At this point, honestly, third time reading through this stuff, I like this so much more than the past two times that I've read it. and especially the pace that we're going, it's way better than once a month, and I think it's way better than binging it entirely. Mm-hmm. This is the right way to consume this story, and so I'm fully expecting to find a way to like what happens in the next volume.
Yeah, that's the thing that I look forward to about this. I had a boring time reading this before, but I know Ken's got the magical powers to see the silver lining, and then we all kind of work through it. It's much better than reading one chapter a month, and then it's like, well, let me read the endless, Twitter discourse for an entire month.
Yeah, because then, like, because Ken's tapped into, like, Toyotaro's mind, and, like, what is he intending to do here? And, like, I get what he's trying to do here, and letting us see it, too.
There have been times since the Granolah arc finished where people will say that it's their favorite and that they like it more than Moro. And I don't know if I'm there yet, but I would always just look at those and be like, what? Okay, come on. And now I'm starting to get it.
Right.
Wow. Do you think you'll ever understand why Dragon Ball Daima got Anime of the Year this year on some?
Oh my! Did you hear about? Yeah,
I don't.
It beat Dan to Dan.
What the hell? And Solo Leveling? What?
Yeah, I just
ridiculous.
Well,
I don't understand.
I don't want to talk about that.
Separate podcast episode entirely.
Vegeta attacks Granolah into the protected Sugarian city, even though a bunch of other people had evacuated by that point. And then he bites his arm in classic Goku fashion.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Granolah just gets on top of Vegeta and starts point blank blasting into his neck.
Yeah, dude.
Just that's his intent to kill. Then he sees
the tallest moment.
He sees the scared Sugarians and flashes back to himself and spoilers, his mom.
Hot.
Her name is Muesli. You don't know this yet, but that's I've only ever heard Muesli before in a Flight of the Conchords song, and I don't really know what it is.
It's just another grain cereal. You can go find it in your grocery store.
Another band that Kikuchi stole music from.
But we'll get into Muesli next volume. Vegeta says, and he's still trying to talk Granolah down. He's like, any grudges against the Saiyans are well-deserved. How could I object to you destroying me here and now? But by eradicating the Saiyans, aren't you just repeating history?
Got him.
He's Naruto. He's trying to Naruto.
Yeah.
Right. You will be my Gaara, gosh darn it.
But instead of talking Granolah up, this just quickly escalates stuff with Granolah, and Granolah's like, you know what? Screw you. Screw the horse you rode in on. Screw this planet. Screw everything. Screw Frieza. I'm going to burn my life away to kill you.
Yeah. Dude, he's lost it, man. He's gone.
And that's what I love so much about Granolah is that he is at, we thought he was at rock bottom, but he still keeps digging himself in deeper.
Yeah.
But it's part of the story.
At first you could empathize with him and understand where he's coming from, but then you see him further just dig himself into this.
But isn't that kind of reflective of us as people?
That's what I'm saying. It's
disagree,
that's not a bad thing. Yeah. You totally see that people do this all the time.
Yeah. We don't work to come together. Instead, we radicalize ourselves instead.
Yeah.
Of finding...
A lot of people would rather be like, no, my way is right. I'm doing this and you're just trying to get in my mind. You're just trying to change my,
And even though you're speaking some good reason here, I'm just going to dig my heels in. I'm like, because if I admit that I might have been wrong, now I'm weak. It's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm the strongest in the universe.
Yeah, I'm the strongest. Okay. And then Vegeta says, apologies, Lord Beerus. I couldn't revert to the callous, unfeeling man I once was. That god of destruction power was beyond the scope of a novice like me.
Oh, damn.
Vegeta. Do you think he's giving up on using that? Because he's like, no, that's way too bloodthirsty and that's not who I am. Or is that I got to work harder at being more of a dick in order to really use this?
I think he's giving up on trying to lose himself to it like he was in that fight. I mean, spoiler alert, he's going to use it again.
I forgot.
We're not done with Alter Ego, but I think he's done, trying to make it his whole thing to just let go, and he'll find a new way to use it. And that's some themes I want you to think about for later.
Oh, Spirit Fusion.
So Oatmeal went and grabbed Monito, because who can talk Granolah down If the only person possibly would be Monaito. And as Monaito is flying over, he looks at Goku and says, "That man, it can't be."
Like, oh no, here we go.
Moments before disaster. Monaito distracts Granolah enough that Goku's able to interrupt his attack and stop him burning his life away. And then Monaito says, "There was a Saiyan who didn't earn your vengeance," talking to Granolah. 40 years back, the one who actually saved us was a Saiyan named Bardock.
Here's a question, because it's been a couple of months since we've read previous things leading up to this.
Yeah.
Granolah has lost it. He's just like, you know what? I had this grand plan. I was going to take you guys out, and I was going to take out Frieza, and I was going to die in like 3 years and whatever. But I guess I'll just kill myself now to at least just take out Vegeta. Just one of these dudes. What relationship does Monaito have with Granolah where he just shows up on the battlefield and that snaps Granolah out? It just seems like what is going on here for that, where he's like, oh, I guess I'll stop doing this now.
It's someone he can trust, but I guess doesn't he trust the head piece? What is it called? Oatmeal?
I assume you're asking this legitimately and not rhetorically.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But the series will go into this. So
okay. Because I couldn't remember why seeing him.
Hashtag trust in Toyotaro.
Okay. I wasn't sure if this is a thing we would get to later or if it's something that I'd forgotten. So good to know that we'll address it later.
But dang, this shot Toyotaro did with like Goku tackling Granolah. Oh, so good. Goku's looks so... I need to get my Figuarts out and make that pose right now. It looks so good.
So that's the end of where we're at with this volume. Now, Doug, I would like to know, where do you think we're going?
To Bardock, baby. We're gonna see. I'm excited. Like every time you guys bringing up Bardock, you have this like diminishing tone. Like, here we go, moments before disaster. I'm like, what went wrong? How can introducing Bardock be a bad thing? This is Bardock of all characters. We love Bardock, don't we?
Minus Bardock.
Well,
it's minus Bardock. Oh no.
Okay, we'll get into this next time. But Toyotaro does have a strong affinity for original. Who would have written that? Was it Koyama who wrote the Bardock special?
I would have thought that it was, but it seems too good for it to be Koyama. So
Toyotaro
check on that.
Has an affinity for that version of Bardock, so it's not entirely minus Bardock. But this is all stuff that we will get into in the coming episodes.
It was Takao Koyama and Katsuyuki Sumisawa, so two people rather than just Koyama.
I don't think that like minus Bardock and the Bardock in Broly is a very different Bardock from this TV special. And I think what Toyotaro's trying to do in his masterful way is trying to marry those two into one.
Into one super Bardock.
But I don't
ultra
fully remember. So we will get into that as we go.
I'm at least intrigued. I'm like, what can you possibly do to include Bardock in the story? Like if I didn't know already better what is going to kind of happen, I would just think that there's going to be a story about Bardock that's going to introduce it, not what is to come.
I don't know if you do know what's coming, Doug.
I don't, but like it's very like I know it's not just a story, but I don't know.
Just another random thing, because on that very last part where it's like, I'm going to tell you about the savior who saved us 40 years ago, and I'm like, I mean, it makes sense for Goku and Vegeta. They are Saiyans. They always stay at their prime. Why does Granolah look like he's 20 when this man is like pushing 50?
It's pansy effect. That's what we're going to call it.
Oh,
trademark that.
Yeah. Isn't he also older now because of the dragon wish? Like he's
right. Well, he would have burned through his lifespan. I'm not necessarily certain he's to the end of that, because he's supposed to get up to 150, 200, something like that.
200, I think. He's only as much older as it would have taken him to grow out all that hair. So.
Oh, okay.
Now, watchers and listeners, I know I'm over here again moving heaven and earth to get Randy and Doug to appreciate this story. Is it working on you? Comment below and let me know.
It's working on me.
I'm curious. I feel, is my unabashed enthusiasm swaying you?
I think so, because every episode I come in here like, that was whatever. I guess so. But proving again that Dragon Ball fans like me can't read, because then Ken comes in here like, no, this is actually what it said, Doug, and you missed this part that included. Like, oh my God, you're right, Ken. That's incredible.
Doug, I don't think that's it. I think that this is just a series that rewards multiple reads. Because I definitely did not appreciate it this way the first time through.
I think, it must be like follow-up reading that after you know what's going to happen, you can tell what Toyotaro's finally thinking in his head, but it doesn't read well the first go around.
And I know when I read this for Kanzenshu, I took notes. I have them somewhere. I'll have to go find them when this is done, because I don't want to like influence myself. But right. I read that like really in one sitting, the whole arc to get ready for that. And my notes were not as extensive as here. And so I wasn't really diving into as much as I could. And also because Mike and Ian were going to cover a lot more than that. And they were driving it more so than I am here. But on my third time through this, it's just, I think this is a really rewarding story.
Yeah, cool. I'm really liking that. And to toot our own horns, I have sometimes been like, oh man, our episodes are so long and that bums me out. I wish we could be shorter and snappier and like more concise. But thinking about it for something like this, where it's like a book club situation where we're going through 4 whole chapters, beefy chapters, 45 pages, and being able to be so granular about it and really like get into like the nitty gritty about it, I think is pretty great. And I don't think it would be able to convince me and really make me think about it if it wasn't sort of this longer sort of thing. So I like this, and I hope that everybody else is digging that too.
If this is just up to me and I had to read, and I just read it on my own, I probably would have just blazed through the entire thing and be like, yeah, that wasn't enjoyable. But being able to pick apart as it's going has really been enjoyable and eye-opening.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm still in the camp of like, I'm good with just Z. Everything should have just stopped at Z. This just feels like extra material that is too much, but it's cool that it exists.
Okay. So real quick then, Doug, where you said that Moro, right, was better than anything that preceded it in Super.
Yeah.
Do you think Granolah is up there with Moro?
No. So far, Moro is still the more enjoyable, story so far. But I mean, that's because I finished Moro. They're still...
Well, right, but what I'm saying is Granolah up there as better than the other stuff before
that's
Moro?
Hard to say, right? Because the villain isn't anything super crazy. I feel like it's a villain we've covered. It's like a Star Trek villain. Like, you came to my planet and then you destroyed, and it's your fault that I've been stuck here on this planet for a million years. Kind of story where they're mad at the Saiyans for things that our Saiyans didn't do, and it's just, I don't know. That doesn't make him a bad villain. I'm just saying, like, we've seen this villain before, and it's kind of a trope.
Ken, I think you're asking this question too prematurely.
Yeah, I was just curious about where we're at.
No, yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. You know,
I mean, what was Moral 2 was just like, I'm bad. I mean, that too. But like it's about like how the story takes them that makes it interesting. So like, yes, we've seen this trope of Granolah before, but let's see where the story takes him and how he develops and how the story develops.
Also, this arc does not have Niles' ex-wife Maris in it. So
technically it does. We did see him.
Well, yeah, but he's not really doing a lot. Yeah. That's a fun joke because Maris is from the Moro arc, similar when you say the name out loud to...
I forget all names. I don't even know who you're talking about.
A character in Frasier. That's okay.
Oh.
It all comes back to Frasier. That's what we're going to do.
Where?
And then I've been talking about stuff that's in the volume specifically, and I always been showing you like the back cover where Toyotaro draws something different, except this time it's spoilers, actually. So I can't show you.
Why is Amos there, though, as well?
Because he will draw whoever's on the spine art for that one, and this time it's Zamasu.
Cool. That's a cool little thing. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about these little adventures in these 4 chapters?
No, let's get into finding out what people had to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to do that. But before that, I wanted to remind people that next time, episode 111, we're going to be covering, of course, volume 18, which is chapters 77 through 80. So get ready for that. But take a break. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with what you guys had to say. So stick around. Alrighty, welcome back, because this time we get to hear what you guys had to say about this here volume of the Dragon Ball Super manga, all about Granolah and him surviving, and the arc in which it takes place.
Doug is a dork! Am I saying it on the right video?
You get it, Ken. Here you go. It's all yours. You win. It's
for
not
the audio
rigged
listeners, Doug was holding up the figure that he was doing the giveaway for, which if you're listening to this episode, it's too late. It's already gone. But there's more to come.
This is already someone's. This is, yeah.
And he's touching it.
We don't know who, but it's someone's. Not mine.
you've won a figure of Vegeta, but also it's got Doug's finger skin oil. So
I almost licked it too. I don't know if you saw.
We should say, let's say you only listen to the audio version of this podcast. We never actually explicitly said what you need to do. Just go to Doug's TikTok, go to his Instagram, or go to our YouTube page and just look out for Doug's videos that he does, his YouTube shorts, his Instagram reels, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you will find the instructions to how to go to this to win that second or third Vegeta.
Yes. I might make different rules because I didn't realize how many people. I could have had them do anything I wanted. I could have had people say Ten Shinhan, not TN, and that's how you submit it. then we get.
Oh, that's a good
see
one.
who the true fans are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That'd be good. So, all right. So first up, Ken, do you want to take this one from Jacob?
Sure. Jacob Sawyer, always here, writes in and says, still enjoying the story and the action. Lots of techniques and exploration of their use here. Love Vegeta's tactics here, subverting Granolah's sniper sight and in other ways.
I think that's the real meat of this whole thing. Not just the Ultra Ego and showing up for this, but just these two and like their whole unwilling to give up on the past.
Yeah.
It's good. We got Pika Fan here who says, Chapter 73 to 74, the justification for using and or holding back lesser forms / trump cards from Goku, Vegeta, and Granolah are creatively and delightfully believable. 73 and 74 could have fit into one chapter. Too many pages wasted on redundant action. 75 to 76, Granolah commits worse actions as he refuses to believe the truth and to further his want. Also, these actions further the plot by increasing in power. This is great negative character arc writing. The story halts too long for unneeded extended fight between the Saiyans and the Cerulean, but it becomes interesting when the Hidas make their move along with Monaito's revelation. This saga is too fight bloated and lacks enough connection to the Moro saga to feel like a true continuation. I would agree with the fight bloat.
Yeah.
It was definitely evident in the monthly way that we read this originally.
Okay,
like Doug,
now it's Vegeta's turn.
it was so excruciating.
I can't imagine
that first time.
Because it was cool. It was cool the first time it happens with like, I think that doesn't happen until Kid Buu. Every other time it happens, it's like Piccolo's out for the count, and then it's like it's Vegeta's out for the count. Now it's Goku up against Frieza. Like it's a more not tag in tag out kind of fight system.
I agree that there is a lot of fight bloat, but there is interesting stuff being said in these fights, and so for that I still love it. And we just had Moro, which was like more of an adventure. And so you don't necessarily want the same thing right after the other thing. And so this one just being like very quick to get to where they are, and then just the fight starts. And I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Look, I think it was Armstrong in Full Metal Alchemist. Was it him who said we talk with our muscles or with fighting?
It sounds like it would be him. Yeah.
This is what that is. These three have a lot of conversations to have, and they're going to do it while they punch each other. And since they have a lot to say, they got a lot of punching to do.
I got muscles. Yeah.
And Vegeta, in his defense, was trying to Naruto Granolah and end the fight,
That's right.
but Granolah wouldn't have it.
It's cool that Vegeta can recognize this guy's not going to reason with me, so I'm going to kick your ass.
I'm a real fan of using Naruto as a verb.
Yeah, we're going to throw out all of the references to popular anime and manga circa
Full Metal,
our time in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proto Packet writes in and says, dudes, Ultra Ego rules. I will tolerate no slander. Best Vegeta moment since the Buu Saga sacrifice, IMO. Yeah, there are a lot of people who don't like Ultra Ego.
But why?
Because they're haters, dude. That's why.
His eyebrows?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And again, I think it comes down to how Toyotaro, just his execution, artistic execution isn't always there.
Yeah. Like, it's supposed to be like the shot, and it's like, okay, that's the way you decided to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Silly Rookie. Is this a new person that I don't think I've recognized before?
Hey.
All right. Welcome to the fold, Silly Rookie.
Did you come here because of Doug's figures?
Let me know if you did. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, heck yeah. The no eyebrows on Ultra Ego were a mistake. I think at this point, where the heroes are just channeling actual magic, their transformations could allow for costume changes. I think that'd be more fun instead of just having to pick a different hair color. Angel form Goku, demon form Vegeta, just lean into it. Hell, isn't that part of why Super Saiyan 4 was so cool to look at? It's a whole costume when you get down to it.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's like, yeah, Super Saiyan 4 is such a different turn that it would have been cool. here, you're just changing color and getting rid of eyebrows. It's like, whoop-de-doo.
Topo got like the like tattoo looking things, right? Like the circle and the triangles.
Yeah.
Throw that on Vegeta.
Vegeta should turn into a cat. That's all I'm saying.
Gets tail, turns into a cat boy. He's like,
Beerus wasn't a cat before.
All right. GGF writes in, again, first time reading this stuff. Obviously, the big star of this volume is Vegeta, who I love, and Ultra Ego, which I'm more mixed on. Visually, I already disliked the extended brow of Super Saiyan 3, but that at least had the big hair to pull focus. Not so much here, leading to what is IMO, the ugliest form any of our main cast has ever had. Conceptually, though, I really like it. Its brute force philosophy contrasts really well with Ultra Instinct, and I love the idea that he has to go heal mode to really tap into it. The action in this whole volume is honestly pretty solid, too. I'm able to follow along with it just fine. My misgivings on Ultra Ego's design aside, a good set of chapters. As someone who really dislikes the good guyification of Bardock in recent years, that tease at the end could not have made me less excited, but hey, maybe they pull it off. ...
We'll have to see in just a couple of weeks.
It's such a shame because Toyotaro did draw him good in that one panel I was talking about when like he had Granolah by the scruff of the scarf, and like that looked good, but everywhere else is just kind of mediocre.
Yeah, he makes the brow too thin, and it should really kind of be thicker. And then also he has a problem where he's not willing to take Vegeta's temples up high enough, and so Vegeta's forehead is not as big as it should be. Among other things, and again, just his anatomy is just, oh my god, what have you done?
What is that?
But I really like Ultra Ego, and maybe like in fan artists' hands, there's been some really good work with it. So I think the design is peak. I just don't think that Toyotaro's the guy to do
executed it well. Dude, John's Hobby Room, he customizes figures. Check out his YouTube channel, John's Hobby Room. He like made a custom Ultra Ego Vegeta using one of the like regular Vegeta Ichiban Kujis, and it looks awesome.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, you just do the brows, do the whole forehead some justice, and you can do some cool stuff. So I think that in more capable hands, or at least someone who has more time that they can dedicate to this, because 45 chapters in a month has to be tough to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let alone one chapter at 45 pages.
Yeah, exactly. So then here we've got Christina F. Weeba Gaming, who I've seen Mario Kart, the Conzentron's Discord, and all that other fun stuff. Ultra Instinct takes a bow. Ultra Ego takes center stage. What I appreciate as Goku and Granolah's fight climaxes is that it's very clear that Goku is still not taking the words of Whis to heart by relying on Ultra Instinct and not attempting to evolve his own style. Granolah was able to outmatch him, bringing us to Ultra Ego. For the first time in the series, Vegeta has a transformation that's his alone, and as such is no longer just behind Goku, but maybe gone beyond him. With this new technique, now the two can work together to reach new limits instead of only working to surpass one another. Granolah has now hit what I believe is the climax of his arc, seeing that he's now no different than the ones who took his home from him. Perhaps now they can reach some common ground, but first, time to be reintroduced to a character that I really, really, really want to talk about next time. I look forward to it. I'm excited to have that whole conversation because, this is only my second time reading it through versus Ken. This will be your third, but what new thoughts, feelings will we have coming into it?
Yeah, we have this looming threat of Bardock. And whether you've read this or not, there's not really a way to have escaped the influence that he had on this story as people were talking about it at the time. Much like everyone going into this, GGF, I know you had to have known about Ultra Ego before this. It's inescapable. But
all I know is the front volume cover of doing a cartwheel or a somersault or whatever over Bardock. That's all I know.
Now, what I thought was interesting is that when we first started discussing this arc, Doug, and I asked you, what did you know about it going forward? And you said something about like a time traveling Saiyan or something.
Yeah.
So was your impression that Bardock time travels into this story?
Yeah. How else would it get there?
Interesting.
We'll have to see. And then this wasn't, of course, in the Blue Sky replies, but of course, we got Willis DeYoung hitting us back up on email. So gotta read that. Willis says, Chapter 73, Goku time! I feel the reveal of perfected Ultra Instinct was a bit wasted. I definitely could see how this reveal would have worked better in animation form with some Kikuchi playing. Everything always works better with Kikuchi. I mean, that's just a given.
Yeah. Totally.
Definitely my favorite panel from the volume was on page 39 with Goku is holding Granolah in the air. Oh, yeah. You know, putting the bad guys in air jail.
Yeah.
It's always good. The remainder of the volume was obviously very action-heavy. It was great seeing Vegeta gain his ego back. I feel we haven't seen this side of Vegeta since the androids and the Cell arc. Majin Vegeta from memory was less ego and more bloodthirsty. My only real nitpick was when Granolah loses Oatmeal and gains his second red eye. He looks more like a Saiyan than an original character. Maybe that's intentional, but it didn't work for me at the moment. Looking forward to re-exploring this arc with you guys. Appreciate all the hard work. Willis. P.S. Doug is a dork.
Wrong video.
Oh, man, come on.
He didn't comment on the video. He's in the video.
He surpassed.
So thank you, Willis. Always great to have your thoughts and everything in there. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, Willis.
Yeah. So, that's that. And then, Doug, are you ready?
For what?
The thing you always forget is trivia.
How many figures I got to give away to avoid trivia?
Oh, that's
I don't know.
fun.
What's the shipping to Portugal?
Oh, no. Out of my budget. That's what it is.
Listeners, how many figures should Doug give away to you to get him over this? I don't know. All right. We got 3 little questions here. And quite honestly, Ken, the first 2 are all you. Okay. But the third one, I mean, you'll see. The third one could be either of you. We'll see.
I'm gonna sweep this. Watch this.
Yeah.
All right.
Check this out.
Watch this one.
Check this out.
Question number 1. In the beginning of the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament arc, before the actual tournament takes place, there's one famous scene from the anime involving Goku and Vegeta that is not present in the manga. Which one is that?
Doug, can you get this one?
So there's a scene. It's the one where Evolution Vegeta and Kaioken Blue Goku are walking down.
Yeah, ahead of their appearance to the series.
I wasn't listening. I knew I wasn't going to get this answer, so I just wasn't listening.
It's bearded Goku and Vegeta.
That's right. Goku and Vegeta emerging from the Room of Spirit and Time sporting full beards and also strong body odor. So if you wanted to bring up that, you also could. I want figures of those 2 men with beards. I'll also take
premium Bandai exclusive. That'll be way too much for you to afford.
It's just a head sculpt swap. I guess couldn't somebody just like
it'll be a custom, yeah.
Yeah, give me that. Yeah. Send me a link, Doug. Look for that. Number 2, Kuririn's outfit is very different between the anime and the manga versions of the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament arc. In the manga, he switches back to his Battle of Gods outfit. What does he wear in the anime?
In the Universe
are different?
6?
Universe 6 versus 7. So this is the beer or the Champa thing where we've got Hit and all that.
Yeah, and so you're saying he's wearing like his more Chinese outfit in the anime.
In the Battle of Gods outfit, which I can't remember what he wears.
So I'm just going to say, is he wearing his taco shirt?
The whole time?
Yeah, beige pants and a red t-shirt with the word tacos written on it. His hair has also grown back since the Resurrection F arc, unlike in the manga where he's still bald.
I'm lost, man.
Well, that's okay. Your last one, Doug. You could sweep this one. What is the word tacos on Kuririn's shirt in reference to? And no, it's not like the Mexican food item taco.
What?
Why does he have the word tacos on his shirt?
Is it because he loves to munch on beef?
Whoa, okay. Ken, you either have the answer or you super don't.
I have a guess. Is it takoyaki?
It's pretty close. In Japanese, taco, while literally meaning octopus, is also a slang term meaning baldy, which is ironic considering he only wears this shirt in the anime where his hair is
when he's
back.
Not bald.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I always wondered, I was like, why does it just say tacos? Like, I get it. I also love tacos. So, but yeah, there you go.
I just talked about to people always thinking like in Japan, just any English word is cool. So it's like, yeah, taco.
Yeah. So I didn't say it at the beginning because I wanted to surprise Doug, but thank you, Zenpai, our trivia deity, for providing us with those trivia questions.
Yeah.
So always good. Thank you for torturing this poor man.
I appreciate you, Zenpai.
We all appreciate you. But we all also appreciate the listeners, the watchers, thank you for interacting. We love keeping the conversation, talking about our favorite franchise in the world. And you can always post at us on our Blue Sky. We're over at wegotapodcast.com over there. Otherwise, you can email us at wegotapod@gmail.com.
Yeah, and thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use this track, Kakarot theme hip hop track remix. You can find that great track and other great music by Rifti on his SoundCloud. Ken, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at Detective X. Just Google it. It's also a game, like a board game in Japan called Detective X.
Ooh,
so check that out. Don't look me up. Go find that. Buy it. Play it.
Detective X Conan. It's a reflection of you. And Randy, where can they find you?
You can find me over on that Blue Sky. I'm at Saberbreaker at wegotapodcast.com over there. But you just type in Saberbreaker, you'll find me.
Do you have a game about your name too?
I don't think so. I mean, there's a character in Fate Stay Night named Saber. Could be that.
There you go. Saber. And you can find me at JabazDoug on all the places, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Now, Randy, in the earlier part of this episode, did you bring up the Kanzenshu podcast you were on, or did I black out?
We put it in the outline, but we skipped over it because we were too busy talking about other stuff. But yeah, if you're listening to this right now, as it came out, the most recent episode of the Kanzenshu podcast, I was a guest on there talking about, the whole podcast journey and, my journey through the Dragon Ball fandom. So you should go check that out. It was a good time. Just me and Mike hanging out, having a good old chat.
I didn't know this was happening. I didn't get an invite. Did you, Ken, get the invite for the We Got a Podcast special?
No, and I liked not knowing about it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Honestly, yeah. It was like, whoa, what's happening?
I didn't even drop it in to talk to you guys about it. I was like, no, let this be a surprise.
I will say, though, that when I conducted episode 109 in that specific way that I did it, it was intentionally modeled after the way that Mike has been doing some of his interviews. And so then when he said that he couldn't just ape what I did because, well, it was also because I was aping what he had done. So he could have brought it full circle, but it's probably for the best that he didn't.
That's funny.
We're just an Ouroboros of Dragon Ball fans and podcasts and content here. So,
well, speaking of content, it's time to bring this content to a close here and end this episode of We Got a Podcast, episode 110. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't seen episode 109, maybe you're like, I'm just going to watch these Granolah episodes. Check out episode 109. It's awesome. It's just us talking about the podcast, lots of behind the scenes stuff. And after it ended, I kept thinking of more stuff we could have brought up, but maybe we'll have to save that for a future episode. Some of the more of the behind the scenes
218.
stuff.
218, you're doubling it.
I'll see you there.
Double, give it to the next person.
So I don't know. Summer Games Done Quick happens in Minnesota in the summers. And so I'm not going this year, but maybe there might be a future year where maybe we can gather over there. I've always wanted to go to a Summer Games Done Quick in person.
Yeah, there's your excuse. There you go.
Right. You can come see me, and that'll be a good time.
Now, Randy,
I'm down
you could just go walk over there.
I could. I don't think I could walk there. I mean, it would still take a while, but
You can walk there from your address, 205 South Minnesota Road.
That's exactly where.
That's where you're at? Yeah, cool.
Well, if you like South Minnesota Road and other fun improv like that, make sure to tell your friends about this show. And we're off the rails. I've forgotten where we are. Review,
please love me.
like, subscribe, love Doug. Doug is a dork. Check us out, and we'll catch you matinator.
Bye.
See ya.
South Minnesota Road and other improv like that.
Brought to you by viewers like you.
That's great.